On this episode of Rick Dancer TV, we're at the Brew and Queue out on Highway 99, kind of near Beltline Highway. New owners are here, and they feel like they're getting some bad press from the local media. We're going to talk about that. Local media isn't covering the big story we broke last week on Aretha, the missing cow in Brownsville. We'll update you, because that's what we do. And we're going to take you to another ghost town. Yeah, Bill Getz and I, 23 years ago. We're just reliving all kinds of memories. I'm not dead. That sounds like something interesting.
It was the last night of the Willamette Country Music Festival. People were cleaning up, folks were leaving, and something happened.
I was out back by the truck just putting stuff away when the gentleman next door at the booth comes running and says, "Hey, somebody just took your cow."
Wow. Aretha is one of 3 fiberglass cows owned by Lochmead Farms.
You know, I took the better of the 2 out there too.
Her sister, who you see right here, and whose name and whereabouts remain a secret for obvious reasons, is an exact double.
Notice that the cow is going through the crowd basically by itself, it looks like. We were running after it, and we finally see these couple guys carrying the cow. We yell at them to drop the cow. They do. We grab it, bring it back.
Later that night, someone returns with a truck, talks to security, posing as a Lochmead employee.
You know, last night there was a gentleman from Lochmead came by and said he wanted to take the cow, and so he put it in the truck and took off with it.
So, what does this mean to your family?
Kurt's right here.
In all seriousness, someone did take Aretha the fiberglass cow. Lochmead wants her back and is offering a reward for her return. No questions asked.
I'm hoping our posters out there will do some good.
Somebody had to see this.
Oh, they had to have seen it.
You know,
a lot of people had to have seen it.
Right.
We've set up a hotline to get your tips. You can call 541-991-8790 or findingaretha.eugenedailynews.com. We want to hear from you.
We want her back. She's missed, and we would very much like to get her back.
We're here at the Brew and Queue, and the new owner, Patrick Parvin, is here, and these are his crazy friends. Hey, Rick. We've already learned that much about it. So, yeah. So grab me a beer and come around here and let's talk about your place and see what you're doing.
Sounds great.
And we're really glad to be here. This is a great place. It's really fun, and it's clean and nice, and you've done a ton of things to this place. Talk to us about what you're trying to do here.
I just want to, I'm trying to create an environment where everybody can feel comfortable. If you look at the building, it's split right down the middle, green and yellow, orange and black, so it doesn't matter if you're a Beaver fan or a Duck fan. It's someplace that you can come in, sit down, and watch your game, whatever that game is. I mean, we've got plenty of TVs everywhere. We can have your game on your TV and you can watch it. Husbands and wives can come in here and they can feel comfortable. Place you can eat good food, have a couple beers, and enjoy yourself.
This used to be the pit stop, didn't it?
It did many years ago. Yeah. This was the Beltline used to wrap around, and there used to be a racetrack at the end of Beltline, and this was the closest bar to the racetrack. I would come by in the mornings, and I would have coffee and breakfast before going to work, and I would stop by on the way back home at night and have a couple beers here, and then have the rest of my night. So yeah, this is a place I've been coming into for at least 20 years. Okay, so we're going to come back and talk to them a little bit more about the food, and they make fresh cut fries here, and if Emma ever gets here, we'll try to fatten her up a little bit. And also we're going to come back and talk about something else that's been happening in the media that's had a devastating effect on his business. So we'll be back in a little bit with that.
Because I remember one time when my daughter was on the playground, and she came home and she told me how some boy was picking on her and being mean. And the first thing that I almost did after being in this field for like 20 years was I almost said, well, he must like you. And I stopped myself, because that's what we say. When boys are mean to little girls, we tell those little girls that that's because they like them. We teach girls that the boys that they should be attracted to in high school are the bad boys, right? Not the good boys. And so I think all of that is just a societal belief system that I think makes it acceptable on some level. And then we question ourselves. We go, well, why is she with him? He treats her so mean, when we've been telling women since the time they were little girls that the mean boys are the ones that like them. I think we need to change it. We need to change the culture. We need to say no. We don't excuse bad behavior, and you always need to be respectful.
You know, when you work with someone like Emma, she never shows up on time. I told her how to get here. I said, it's the Brew and Queue, big sign, Highway 99, you know, and it's
Green and yellow, orange and black. Can't
on the outside. How do you miss it? She said, I've never been there before.
Tony, Kurt, what's up, Dom? Hey, Libby, JD, what's going on? Colleen, what's going on? Yes, exactly. Patrick!
Here you go.
How'd you know I was hungry? Oh, you made me my favorites. Oh, that's perfect. I gotta take a picture of this.
While Emma continues to do what she does best, which is eat and talk on the phone, we're going to take you back in time. We're working with the University of Oregon's Archives departments to bring you some of the stories we did 20 years ago on KEZI. This is a ghost town series we put together. This is part 2 of Lost and Found Oregon Ghost Towns. Gold mines and ghost towns. The two just seem to go together. When the word got out that the Blue Mountains in eastern Oregon were full of gold pockets, it brought the miners. They brought their families, and the business people followed. Together they built communities, which now have become ghost towns. Tonight, photographer Bill Getz and I are taking you to a place dreamers once called Golden Sumter. The scars of gold mining are scattered all over the Blue Mountains. This country was once filled with thousands of people. Now only a few call these rugged canyons and hillsides home. They settled near the Sumter Valley after gold was found in the mid-1800s. Millions of dollars worth of color was panned and scraped from these rivers and mountains. Just how many millions depends on who's telling the story. A few folks still mine up in this area, but for the most part, the gold era is dead. Locals say most of today's mining is done on the bar stools. These towns that once depended on gold for their livelihood are now cashing in on curiosity. Visitors will pay to pan for history. Jerry Meyer's family was one of the earliest to call this area home.
Squeeze through.
His kin never left. There was more than gold anchoring the Meyers to these parts.
Fresh air, clean air, atmosphere, people. I don't know, I'm just a mountain man, I guess. I've been here all my life.
Sumter was the largest town. The railroad stopped here, and so did 5,000 people in the early 1900s. When the mines petered out in about 1913, most of the miners moved on. Sumter began to fall. The finale was played out just after midnight one hot August night that same year. Fire broke out in Sumter's business district. The dry and empty buildings offered no resistance, and within a few hours the fire had burned most of the city's 12-block area and even consumed the wood-planked streets. Sumter was never rebuilt. Only the hospital and a couple of other buildings survived. And of course, the determined people still wouldn't give up. They knew there was still gold in the streams, so they built these monstrous dredges with huge iron buckets that sifted through the river rock, panning for gold. And they did okay for almost 40 years before the color faded. The rusting hulks of the old dredges remain where it ended. The dredging spoils are like tombstones covering the valley floor. Now 150 people live in Sumter. People are coming back. A lot of them are probably drawn by the same thing that kept the Myers family here all these years, the mountains and the good air. Not bad reasons at all. By 1900, several towns had incorporated near Sumter Valley. Bourne was built at the portholes of one of the area's largest gold mines. 1,500 dreamers crowded into this little canyon. Today you wonder where they put them all. Bourne was considered a rather rough mining town. Hotels, saloons, gambling houses, and stories that could keep the campfire going for hours. They called Bourne a hotbed, get-rich-quick gold town. But the mine couldn't supply enough gold to pay back the people who'd invested in it, and people packed up. In 1927, the Bourne post office stamped its last letter. 10 years later, a flood poured through this valley and almost wiped Bourne off the map. This little hillside, now called Granite, grew as a supply town for many of the mines tucked away in the hills above Sumter and Bourne. A few thousand people lived here in the early days. Now Granite is home to 6. There are no phones, few crime problems, and 2 cars might qualify as traffic congestion. And that's what draws people like Tony Thompson, who runs the Granite General Store.
To me, the rewards, looking out the front door and seeing the deer and the elk, and going down the road and watching all the animals, seeing the trees, the streams, the sunsets. Not a lot of people.
An attractive picture, but even Tony will tell you it's not for everyone.
I guess we're all probably cranky, rugged individuals. I don't know what you describe it as. I mean, everybody's up here because they chose to be.
Rugged individualists, good description. Bonnie and Steve Skidgill certainly qualify.
We do it because that's what just the 2 of us can handle anyway.
The 2 burrow themselves inside this 600-foot-long hole in the mountains to mine for gold.
We just had to see what was in that hole, so we just kept digging until we got it open.
Why do you keep doing this?
I got gold fever.
A mine shaft is an eerie place to work for a living. It's cold, very dark. A haunting quiet fills the stagnant air. Bonnie and Steve find the mine comfortable. They say mining in 1990 is not that bad when you consider what the men who started chipping away at this hole had to go through.
It'll do it. Whoops. It can't happen when it's loaded. It's just, going to be pretty heavy. Did you know this much hanging won't come down?
No, I told you that.
Well, I know, but this is all like quite a bit.
I told you the big slab fell off.
Okay, you guys can really see you can see the vein. The vein itself is looking pretty strong and showing pretty good values, so we'll keep going on it.
The Skidgills are small scale, so aside from a drill, they mine pretty much the way the pioneers did. But remember, this hole was already here when they started. And that's what they used.
That's what the old timers.
The hammers.
This hammer was in here. This is a double jack hammer where one guy'd hold the steel and the other one would drive.
And it's pretty incredible when you think about these old timers doing this by hand.
Mining is hard work, and a lot of it to make it worthwhile. Locals say the less a miner brags about his or her gold, the better their strike. And the Skidgills say very little about how much pay is in this dirt. The people up here say life is easy nowadays. They will tell you they aren't as tough as the pioneers. We wonder.
That was scary. And tomorrow night we're going to take you to a couple of ghost towns closer to home. Shaniko looks like a backdrop for an old Western movie. In fact, it has been used for a couple of movies a couple of times. And the other ghost town is quite familiar. You've probably heard it on this station many a time. We're going to take you on a trip to Rajneeshpuram.
What is this creation?
Large packed burger. 12 toppings. There's 2 quarter-pound patties, tomatoes, lettuce, onion, pickle, 2 slices of cheese, an egg, and a slab of ham. 12 toppings.
And what's it called?
Carbs Pack 12.
Carbs Pack 12 burger.
Ranchito Grill.
You know, honestly, this is so good.
You feel like you're cheating, don't you?
I just told you that. I kind of feel like I'm being unfaithful to Ranchito Grill. I love Abe and Ranchito Grill.
See, Abe will understand because this is pub food.
Yeah.
His is Mexican food. And
loophole.
Loophole. And he has the best Mexican food in town.
He does.
And that's why so many people go in there and they look for the Rick Dancer TV sign, and then they enter the drawing to win 2 free dinners a month.
And we get to give them away, which is really fun.
The best part. So here is the winner, Kelsey Roberts.
Oh,
you're the winner this
I
month.
would clap for you. Please understand,
This is a round of
Kelsey.
applause. Another reason we're here is Patrick called me and was telling me about some news coverage that's been devastating to his business, and that I kind of related to some of this. So we came over to talk to him a little bit about. Tell me about this was a murder that didn't happen here.
No, absolutely.
It happened somewhere else,
Yeah.
and they happened to meet here at the former owner's bar.
Yes.
And now you're getting media coverage. And tell me what's happening.
No, it's devastating.
But recently, what's been happening? The trial's starting, and so
yeah,
you're getting
news crews are showing up, and they're showing the bar. The news coverage has been detrimental to business, for lack of a better term.
Give me an idea. What you told me on the phone.
It's a normal bar shift is anywhere from $500 to $1,000 or over $1,000 on a good shift, and after the news coverage aired from the first time, we had a $27 shift. $27. That's not even worth opening the doors for $27.
So here's the thing: when Patrick told me this on the phone, it kind of hit me because I said to Patrick on the phone, I said, you know, I probably did that a lot in my career, and I never even thought about it. For 20 years, I was covering stories and putting people's businesses like that, and you know, it's not to chastise the media, but it's to say, you know what, it really does have an impact on somebody like this.
Has an impact.
It's more than just a story; it's your livelihood.
Well, there's an impact beyond just the story. That's the key. I mean, because the story's tragic. It's absolutely tragic. But there's an impact beyond that needs to be taken into consideration, and I don't think it is.
For the next 2 hours, you are a machine. You feel connected to the carbon fiber, the aluminum, and the steel of your bike. You feel like a machine as you slice through pavement, push through the air. This is why you get up in the morning. It's that rush of the wind, the speed, the sound of rubber on pavement. And when the ride is over, there is only one thing that can give back what you gave. Lochmead reduced fat or non-fat chocolate milk. Recovery. It doesn't get any better than this.
One of the things I love when you go into a bar or a restaurant is the fresh home-cut fries. I mean, there's nothing better than fresh fries. You scene cut right there. They're awesome. Tastes so much better than the frozen ones. There's all kinds of stuff they say you need to do, would soak them in lemon oil for 20 minutes, etc., etc. But we actually tested this for 2 weeks. And we tried every different combination that you can imagine. And it works out if you just take them right out of being cut, put them into the grill. You let them cook for 2 or 3 minutes. You pull them up and let them sit and blanch for about 30 seconds and then put them back in for another 2 or 3 minutes. Golden. What else? Oh yeah, we got great burgers. Everybody raves about our burgers. We have our special fry sauce that we do homemade. That's secret recipe.
If you told me you'd have to kill me.
Yeah. You got it. And then we do pulled pork. Do our own fresh pulled pork. We have corned beef. We rub down our own corned beef and cook fresh corned beef all the time.
And breakfast?
Breakfast, amazing breakfast, full breakfast.
Emma, did you know the election is Tuesday?
I did. I was going to ask you, did you vote?
Of course I voted, just because I'm a non-affiliated voter and I can't participate in the primary because I'm a non-affiliated. You're an independent, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm an independent. They limit my play in the small voting, yeah.
You know what they should do? They should just open the primary in Oregon. Okay, so I got my voter's pamphlet in the mail last night. What a worthless document, especially for someone like me who's a non-affiliated voter. Why even participate? The Republicans and Democrats own the process, and it's really obvious by the ballot that I'm going to get in the mail. Basically, I can vote, I think, on a couple judicial seats and 1 county commissioner seat. That's it. Everything else in that pamphlet is worthless to more and more voters in Oregon who are not affiliated with the Republican, the Democrat, or any other party for that matter. But in terms of the primary, it belongs to the Republicans and Democrats, and nobody else can play. What Oregonians need to do is get upset about this. We need to get angry about it, and then we need to change it. We need to open the primary in Oregon so that everybody can be part of the process. You wonder why we have candidates that don't look like us, that don't look moderate. I know that's a nasty word in our culture. People who are in the middle, who don't have to be far left or far right. We're just right in the middle and we can't find anybody out there to vote for that looks like us. It's because we have a closed primary, because 2 parties own it. So I'll take my little voter's pamphlet and throw it in the garbage because it's of no use to me. And when my ballot comes, I will participate because you know what? Just because I'm non-affiliated doesn't mean I don't care. And I am going to participate in this election, even if I only get to vote on 1 person. Hey Bill, they even have darts here at the Brew and Queue. Hey, there's something else I want to tell you about. For many years, Colleen Bellotti, Mike Bellotti's wife, has been putting on what's called the Turnaround Awards. It's for kids in our community who have turned their lives around. That's coming up this next week. And so I want to show you this water cooler we shot with her, a year ago. Watch. And we're here with Colleen Bellotti, talking about the Turnaround Awards. A lot of people in town don't really know what the Turnaround Awards are. You and I do, because this has been going on for how many years?
This will be our 18th.
So what is this? You got the idea from another community. You brought it here 18 years ago, but what really is this?
It's an opportunity to focus and give recognition to young adults, middle school and high school kids who've gotten off track in their lives, sometimes by choices they've made, sometimes it's the hand that they've been dealt, but they've figured out a way to turn their lives around, get back on track, and just become really healthy individuals again.
And so you ask counselors and principals from every school, from Junction City to Eugene to Springfield, to pick that student that best exemplifies what you're talking about.
Exactly, and there is no set criteria. The schools kind of to figure out how they want to select their individuals. Sometimes at the middle school they'll wait and give it to an 8th grader so that they've seen the progression through the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. In some cases, we'll have a school that just can't choose between 2 students, so they ask if we can honor both of them, which absolutely would be the case. And this year, we have 29 individuals
receiving the award, which is probably, I think, our highest we've ever had.
What I love the most about this is they each get to get up and hear their counselor or principal talk about them and their success, and then they get to say something. So it's just really this, I mean, honor for them.
It is, and some of the kids are a little shy, if you've remembered over the years, and but we really do try and encourage them to at least say thank you and recognize the people who have been there for them, that have given them the extra strength that they've needed.
Why do you do this? I mean, you put this on with the help of some other friends and people, but you really put this on. Why?
You know, I think it's something about the underdog. You know, even when Mike was coaching, it was, if Oregon was ahead, but the team we were beating was just like 8 touchdowns behind, I just felt bad. It was like, come on, score a touchdown.
You didn't say that out loud though, right?
No, but I don't know. I don't know if there was something in my past that, you know, well, here's an example. When I was kindergarten, first grade, I was playing out on the playground and some kids picked me up and dropped me to the ground on the asphalt, broke my permanent tooth. I had a silver crown on my front tooth for 5-6 years. And, you know, so I don't know if it was the ribbing I took as a child, that I really don't know, but I just really admire those people that, against all odds, they can figure out a way to be happy and successful.
I think the fun part about this is really to hear the stories too, don't you? I mean, it puts you, it really humbles you a lot.
It does, and there's such a variety. I mean, you might have somebody who, you know, made a bad choice and they figured out how to correct things to make it right. Then you have a young man who was born deaf, and everything he had to overcome, all the teasing, to make it work for him. And, you know, in that situation, he had no control over what he was given, but he had to figure out a way to be strong enough to overcome any of the bullying or people that were giving him a bad time.
Well, Colleen, thanks for doing this, and thanks for letting me be involved too.
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Thanks for joining us on the Water Cooler.
So if you're in the market for a video, Rick Dancer Media Services, we create long format videos, shorter videos, YouTube videos, website videos. What we specialize in is telling your story, and we do it with heart, we do it with passion. Sometimes we do it and make it just a little wacky. It's whatever you want. But give us a call to find out more about our services and what we offer. My phone number is right here on the screen, 541-232-3143, or go to rickdancer.com or Rick Dancer TV.
We got all the stuff off the walls, and Colby, we're shooting the TV show here, and you're scratching your chair on the floor.
Hey, I'm buying him a beer so he'll sit down to
Oh, they're going to be in the credits, aren't they? Oh, aren't they going to be in the? Guess who's going to be in the credits, Colby?
Let's get Colby a PBR before he starts.
Emma, I don't need you to do credits. I got Colby.
Just hang around here a while. You'll have a lot more.
You act like you know what you're doing.
Wait, what?
You act like you know what you're doing.
This is the first time I've ever played this. What is this? You call it pole or is it pool?
Pole.
Pole, like the
second O is silent. Can I wait till he's